So it was an interesting thing, and Sadiq was the guy on the internet, on the Twitter, who was talking about, obviously, Walter Payton is the number one definitive, the Bear. Who is the number two person? Which is wide open. And I think a lot of it depends on what age you are, because my dad's going to have a different opinion than Mike North and me, or somebody like Greg Braggs. I know if we ask this to Greg Braggs, he's going to say Devin Hester, which I'm pretty confident is his favorite Bear of all time. I'm going to say Walter Payton. Some people might say Dick Butkus, Gale Sayers. There's really there's no bad. I mean, like, don't be dumb and say like Jay Cutler or something like that. But I think like there's a wide variety of names that I think comes down to Gale Sayers, Dick Butkus, Devin Hester, Brian Urlacher, and I don't even know if Jim McMahon falls into this category. So, and some of the defensive guys, either I feel like it's did I say Singletary? I think it's like Urlacher. Like, because there's people who will be your favorite guy. Like, I'm a big Matt Forte guy who might be who is my favorite Bear of all time. But it's not like, I know that he's not the greatest. Like, he would not be like, oh yeah, I'm better than Walter Payton. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not saying that or anything of that nature. But it's interesting. It truly is. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know who you think is the penultimate, the number two all-time Bear. It'll be a good discussion, and we'll talk about it here in the coming weeks. Don't rush into it. Don't rush into an answer. Take a moment and let that marinate for a second as we get started. So, Juliana, let's go ahead and start the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Adam Rank.
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois, the sickest Chicago Bears and fantasy football podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Adam Rank of the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank. Welcome to the weekend edition of the show. Sorry if there was a technical glitch or anything like that. I might have hit something with my headphones here, so I apologize to you. But I want to thank everybody for being here for the show, the weekend picks, and all that good stuff. Want to let everybody know we were expecting to have Laquan Jones of the NFL Network on with us today. I messed up his schedule. I didn't realize when I get off GMFB, it's 7:00. Local time. And I'm like, hey, Laquan, come join me at 8. And he's like, dude, we do an overtime show for Roku. So we're going to try to get him on next week. He's a delight. If you're not familiar with Laquan Jones, go check him out on the social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. He does a great job for us in the NFL fantasy department. So we're excited to have him on, but we're going to give it a go by ourselves this week. And a couple of things I wanted to talk about before we got to the picks this week. Although I do want to remind everybody that Windy City Sports Cards is the best place to get sports cards. They specialize in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports, whether you are a diehard fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, or Sky. They've got you covered with an extensive selection of sports memorabilia and collectibles. In addition to their Chicago-focused items, they also offer a vast collection of sports trading cards and memorabilia from your favorite teams or players. So as you're watching the World Series and you get pumped up to go get some Ohtani cards or something like that, remember our friends at Windy City Sports Cards. They are the absolute best. And speaking of the best, it's interesting to me that, and I saw this because I saw this with Big Cat. He tweeted something out, and it was a thing. It was a thing on Twitter where somebody was like, I can't believe it's insane. Here's what it said. It's insane that you would want Caleb Williams long-term over Jayden Daniels. And I'm like, personally, it's insane that you would make a snap judgment on this after 4 full games in the NFL, 5, 6 games. How are you already how is this already declared? How is this already over? I've seen enough. I would honestly, if you're a Commanders fan and you're very happy with your quarterback, that's great. I honestly don't care. I'm not looking at this as like, oh yeah, like this. I know that all the Commanders fans, and I think this goes for sports fans in general, but Commander fans right now are trying to have that gotcha moment where they're like, oh, we got you. Like the Chiefs got us with drafting Patrick Mahomes or any other thing. But it's like, it really isn't like that to me. Like, I understand the Bears never interviewed Jayden Daniels, which might have been a mistake in the fact that they're playing him this week. So maybe bring him in being like, oh yeah, we brought him into the building. Not that it matters because we're still not sure if he's going to be able to play this weekend or not. But it doesn't matter to me. And even if at some point it turns out that Jayden Daniels is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams, which I don't think is going to be the case, there was no way that you were not going to take Caleb Williams. Like it's like the Peyton Manning draft of years ago, Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck, like players like they were the definitive number one quarterbacks, and not only the definitive number one quarterback, the definitive number one quarterback for years. Like there was a long time where we understood like Caleb Williams was going to be the first quarterback selected in this draft. And honestly, if the Bears had ended up with, or if Carolina had finished up with the second overall pick, I guarantee you the Commanders would have taken Caleb Williams. They would not have taken Jayden Daniels over Caleb Williams. They wouldn't have done it. So I don't want anybody going out there crowing or anything like that, because the truth of the matter is Caleb Williams was going to be the number one person. And it's not insane to want Caleb. Like what's changed over the last number of weeks that's led you to believe that Caleb Williams is not unstoppable? If anything, you might want to look at what Marcus Mariota did against the Carolina Panthers. Why isn't this talked about? What if the Commanders, based on what we saw last week, Marcus Mariota looked great. So what if the Commanders had taken Malik Neighbors? Would the Commanders have been better off with Malik Neighbors? Going with Marcus Mariota based on what Marcus Mariota did. That's a ridiculous statement. Actually, not so much. But at the same time, like that's more reasonable than saying that Jayden Daniels is going to be better or is already affirmed himself as better long-term over Caleb Williams. It's preposterous. It is absolute lunacy. But again, it's something that fans, I guess, love to do. We're 4 games. It's the greatest of all time. And I think of all this too. Like these poor players go out there and like, oh, your career's defined in 6. And then there's Daniel Jones, who continues to do his thing or whatever. What about that? I remember everybody who was upset, maybe myself included, that we weren't in the mix for Brian Daboll. That they were like, hey, Brian Daboll, we can get to, let's get to this when we do the picks. So, hey, everybody, I know you came here for the picks. So, Juliana, why don't we roll the animation for the Sick Picks?
It's time for Sick Picks. Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois.
Yes, that's right. The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is right at your fingertip in Illinois. The Circa Sports app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Illinois and experience high betting limits, better moneyline splits, more in-game betting, and the best customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. And if you or someone you know might have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234. And it is time for the Sick Picks. If I remember this correctly, and I like to believe that I do, what did Cynthia and I go last week? We won 11 games last week. So I thought we did pretty well. Cruising along. I think the one game I missed, there was a big one that I missed, and I can't think of it right now. We had Denver. We were on Atlanta. We were the lone wolf with the Arizona Cardinals. But a lot of people, oh, you know what? Yeah, we missed the Texans. Of course we did. Damn it, Texans. What was that all about? What was that all about? And by the way, I know it's interesting because the Texans are missing like 6 guys. Who did they just sign? Devin White, I think, was the guy. And they are missing so many players on defense. No Nico Collins. You would never know because nobody brings that up. All right, let's go to the picks. We'll start off with the Falcons as 2-point favorites, 2.5-point favorites at Tampa Bay. A big reason why is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be without Chris Godwin and Mike Evans for the foreseeable future, which highly impacts Baker Mayfield, which of course leads you to believe, or leads you to wonder, who is going to be the guy who is going to be catching passes? Is it Jalen McMillan? Is it Sterling Shepard? We don't know. Maybe listen, Rachaad White has been a pretty good receiver out of the backfield. Maybe they run more 2-back sets in that way. But for me, the Falcons have been rolling. Darnell Mooney has been a huge part of this offense. They run the ball pretty well. I think they'll run it here with Bijan Robinson. Give me the Falcons in this one. The Miami Dolphins are playing host to the Arizona Cardinals. Miami is -4, so they are a 4-point favorite in this one. And Tua Tagovailoa is back, and Tyreek Hill let everybody know to get everybody into your lineups. And not only do you get Tyreek Hill into your lineups, but obviously Jalen Waddle is somebody that you can start playing again in fantasy football. So I love this one for the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins over the Cardinals. It will not be the Cardinals for a second consecutive week. The Bengals host the Philadelphia Eagles. The Bengals are 3-point favorites, which is even money considering a home team advantage. Oh boy, I like the Eagle, or excuse me. No, I'm going to go with the Bengals here. The Bengals have been like scuffling along, playing well enough. They're winning. They're sort of in the mix still. They're flying under the radar. And when given their history, you know, they won a game against the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs a couple of years ago to go to the Super Bowl. They obviously have had great success against the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. They're lurking. So I'm going to go with the Bengals here in that one. The Jets, 7-point favorites over the New England Patriots. The Patriots were called soft by their coach, Gerard Mayo, which led people to believe that Gerard Mayo was going to be fired in the middle of a season, which was not going to happen. The Jets, 7 points is pretty vigorous. That's a big line, although we're going to get to the Lions here in a second. I'm going to go with the Jets. I think they're going to be better. I think a lot of people look at the Jets and be like, well, they struggled. They were up 15-6 before Aaron Rodgers started throwing picks and allowing the Steelers back into that one. They don't make the mistake this time. The Steelers are a lot better than the Patriots. The Jets will get out to a lead. Breece Hall is going to salt that one away. Give me the Jets in there. Lions, 12-point favorites over the Titans. I know my producers are going to hate this. Actually, my producers have given up. They're like, the Titans, we don't know what to do with them anymore. Honestly, I thought the Mason Rudolph, I thought you could do a Ryan Tannehill thing. But the Lions are too good. The Lions are dope. Like, that's a good football team. 12-point favorites? It's tough. But I will say the Lions win this one. Probably pretty easily. For anybody who's concerned about Sam Laporta, and you're like, hey, J-Mo's out. By the way, we were filming the Fantasy Live on Monday. Was it Monday? We were doing Claybon's Court, and I was killing it. And then I just happened to mention, like, oh, you know, and J-Mo's likely to be suspended. Stop down. Stop the show. Can't say that. Not allowed to say that. And I'm like, oh, the best take of all time. I should have them tweet that one out. But in any event, for anybody who thinks that Sam Laporta is going to be unlocked here, he's going to be unlocked this season. To me, we haven't seen a lot of Sam Laporta because we haven't needed to see a lot of Sam Laporta. It's going to get turned at some point. Maybe not this week, but because I think the Titans are pretty good against tight ends. But I'm going to go with the Lions here. The Packers are 4.5 point favorites over the Jags down in Duval. Give me the Jags. Of course, I'm going to pick it. Why do Bear fans need to be the people like, I don't know, it's ridiculousness. It's too much, Rank. You're being like, obviously, like if my life was on the line, I don't know what I would. I still wouldn't want my life in the hands of the Packers. I will say this about Jameis Love though. He's going to get burnt. Again, like he can get away with stuff against the Titans and against the Jags. I don't think he gets away with it against the Lions. Maybe the Vikings. Curious about the Vikings now. That's back-to-back weeks. The Vikings have given up a lot of points, a ton of points. Is Brian Flores losing his magic for the Minnesota Vikings? I have been defending the Vikings. I will be here for the Vikings putting up 12 consecutive losses. I would love that. And when everybody's talking about, oh, the Bears schedule, what are they going to do? Like, listen, the Bears beat the Rams. Okay. So what are we thinking now? Is it a given the Bears are going to lose every divisional contest? And they match up so well against the Lions too. But give me the Jags. I don't care. Rick always does this. Number one Packer hater. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Give it to me. I don't care. I don't care about being over in Green Bay. I really don't. I don't take you as serious football fans. I don't think that you watch ball. I just don't. You like the Packers. It's a great week for Packer fans. Oh, the Packers. Their Dodgers are in the World Series. Their Celtics just opened up the defense of their NBA title. Great week for the Packers. I'm excited for them. Oh, I love it. I love it for them. What is happening? Lightning refs. Okay, somebody might be covering. Somebody needs to cover. Hey, by the way, if there's anybody in Huntington Beach who's a certified AYSO ref, the little Gunners need a referee. Although we might have gotten that covered. All right, Ravens, 8.5-point favorites over the Browns. Okay, I'm going to take the Ravens. A fun play. I want to see Jameis Winston. I want to see Jameis Winston get loose. Dude, the Ravens are not good against the pass. I want to see Jameis Winston get loose. Honestly, I would stay away from this one. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to give betting advice. Sorry. My pick is the Ravens. But there is a part of me that really thinks the Browns could pull it. I'm not going to be shocked if the Browns pull an upset. Okay, Indianapolis at the Texans. The Texans, -5, whatever that means. I think the Colts could win this, but I'm going to go with the Texans there. They got to get their S together. I think C.J. Stroud has been killing me in fantasy football, and it's been ridiculous. Bills, 3-point road favorites against the Seahawks. The Bills should win that one. Give me the Bills. Give me the Chargers against the Saints. Chargers are a touchdown favorite. Are you kidding me? My Broncos. Yeah, Bronco country. Let's ride. Double-digit favorites. They're going to destroy the Panthers. Dude, the Broncos try to tell all of you in the beginning of the year that the Broncos were legit, and they stumbled in week. God, it's one of those games that if the Broncos and the Seahawks played again, the Broncos would destroy that team. Chiefs are not. They're favored over the Raiders. Chiefs are going to take that one. Give me the 49ers over the Dallas Cowboys, and the Steelers over the Giants. Brian Daboll looks like he's coming back for another season. They sort of had no choice because once Saquon Barkley went out there and embarrassed everybody so handedly, they're like, yeah, we're going to bring him back. They're going to have a new quarterback. What if Sam Darnold was the quarterback for the Giants next year? Sam Darnold, $30 million. God, I would love for Sam Darnold to go. See, part of me, I feel bad. I don't want to root against Sam Darnold. But I want Sam Darnold to go somewhere to be the starting quarterback. I want it to be New York. And you hear like Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is getting loose. Malik Neighbors is not letting his disdain for Daniel Jones to go unnoticed. But give me the Steelers there. God, by the way, do we owe Mike Tomlin an apology. We're sorry, sir. So sorry, Mike Tomlin. It appears you knew what you were doing. I still hope Justin gets into enough games to get us that 4th round pick, because that would be kind of cool. However, We're done with this debate, right? Like that's done. Where were you in the great Justin Fields wars? I'll be honest. I was into both. I was into both. Give me the Caleb. Give me Justin Fields in the Hall. God, can you imagine though? Because, and I think a lot of it's the usage of Marvin Harrison Jr., but Marvin Harrison Jr. is not out there killing it. Not out there killing it. Absolutely not by any stretch of the imagination. So anybody who is, and I think a lot of it, again, is the usage. Like the Cardinals are running Marvin Harrison Jr. like a decoy, and it's not really working out. But like right now, if we had Justin Fields and Marvin Harrison, I don't think it'd be going the way. I think we're better off. I think some of you owe Ryan Poles an apology as well. But in any event, Bears, Commanders this week, historic rivalry. I'm not talking about just the 1980s. The biggest blowout in NFL championship game history, 1940. Chicago Bears victorious 73-0. The Bears scored. It wasn't a Sid Luckman pass. It was a run. It was a run by not McAfee. McAfee scored a touchdown eventually. Some of the other like so many Bears, and it wasn't like one guy. Oh, Osmansky? Osmanic? I should look that up. I should be better prepared. But in any event, historic rivalry. This game in 1940 also marked the last time that an NFL player, Bears and Dick Plasman, played without a helmet. Reportedly, after the final gun went off, a sports writer jokingly yelled, "Marshall just shot himself." Marshall's only statement, George Preston Marshall, who was the owner of the Washington, they were the Redskins at the time, huge douchebag, like terrible person. George Preston Marshall was like one of the worst people in NFL, which is saying something. George Preston Marshall might have been the worst owner in Washington football history, which is saying something. His only statement to the press was, "We needed a 50-man line against the power T and all that stuff, the wing T and all that." Coming into this game, the Bears had defeated. They played a close game with Washington, and George Preston Marshall came out and said that the Bears were soft, which again should go back to any Commanders fan that wants to bury Caleb Williams and the Bears and already declare a winner in this thing. They might want to go back and read up on hit. Like, okay, asking an NFL fan to bone up on their history is not happening. But the precedent is George Preston Marshall, the then owner of the Washington football franchise, called out the Bears for being soft, and George Halas was not having any of it, and put a 73 burger on that team. So why don't you run your mouths, Commander fans, and keep talking Montez Sweat, revenge game, and all that stuff. When it comes to, I'm obviously going to be picking the Bears in this one, regardless of who the quarterback is. The Bears defense has been very good. And I was listening to Manti Te'o today talking about like, hey, we know the Commanders will put up points. I'm like, do we? I mean, like maybe. We'll see. It's not a fluke. It's not like the Bears. You're not looking at over the last two games, the Bears have not. No, it's a 12-game stretch of the Bears have not allowed a lot of production to opposing quarterbacks or to opposing offenses point-wise. They've given up production on the ground, which is why Brian Robinson Jr., you can probably start him in fantasy. They've given up some yardage through the air. I don't expect it to be Terry McLaurin, probably be Dommy Brown or Noah Brown or somebody like that. The other McCaffrey brother. Whomever. The Bears are going to win this game. And I know we've been talking about like these need to be must-win games. And it is. What we need to see out of the Bears, though, is we've seen them win 2 games in a row. We've seen them notch 3 consecutive games. How are they going to be having a little success coming out of a bye week and doing that thing? Peter Schrager was talking to me about it today. Like, look, like you had that early window early morning game against Jacksonville, and it's been flippin' sweet since that time. Everything's been coming up for the Bears over the last, 13 days, whatever it is, 15 days, whatever. It has been amazing. The Bears have to go and capitalize. They're going to start off slow. They're going to fall behind 7-0, and then they're going to have to rally to get points on the board. And I think that they will. This Commanders defense is not great. And if the Bears, and this is it. This is one way to go out there and see truly where this Bears team is. And it won't shut people up because everybody, beat a good team. Oh, you beat them without Jayden Daniels, whatever. Well, I'm fine. I'll have that argument all day. Just go out there and win the game. So go out and enjoy it. We will be back here immediately after the game for more of that. So we thank you so much for being here. Thanks to everybody who joined us here today. We'll see you Sunday evening after the game. Until that time, bear down. And Juliana, go ahead and play us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois.